The haunted Phoenix Saloon. It's no secret that the Phoenix Saloon in Texas is rumored to be haunted. For years, the staff and guests have reported supernatural events in the popular bar, such as windows and doors opening and closing on their own, the sound of footsteps, a chilly breeze, and a shadowy man walking down a second-floor hallway. Many believe the paranormal activity is caused by the ghost of John Sipple, the man who built the building in 1871. He was a tortured alcoholic, who committed suicide after his wife left him for another man. Another possible candidate is Walter Krause, a former owner of the saloon. He was killed in 1885 in a bar fight, so it seems likely his spirit could linger in the building. Some also suggest that the Masonic Lodge, that was once housed on the third floor, enacted some sinister secret rituals which caused the haunting. However, in the photographs submitted by Sloane Claire, none of these theories seem to hold water. In these creepy photos, the shadowy entity that lurks around the saloon appears to be a woman. According to Sloane, there was no one else there that could have been responsible for the bizarre shadow, and regulars stated that the shadow woman is something of a fixture in the saloon. As a sensitive clairvoyant, Sloane believes that the woman wants people to see her, which explains why she appears so clearly in the photographs. We may never know who exactly this mysterious shadow figure at the Phoenix Saloon is, but their appearance in these photographs may very well be real proof of ghosts. Entity caught on camera in Squirrel Cage Jail, Iowa. When John Radin visited the Squirrel Cage Jail in Iowa, United States, for a paranormal investigation, he was hoping to come home with a few ghost photos. The spirits did not disappoint. In this photo from the jail, a dark, shadowy entity appears with its back to the camera. Performing some research in collaboration with the staff, John was able to determine that the entity is wearing a jacket, with patches, that match those worn by local police in the 1930s and 40s. In addition, it appears to be holding a key fob similar to the ones used at this particular jail, suggesting that the entity may be the spirit of a former prison guard. The Squirrel Cage Jail is known as a hotbed for paranormal activity. The prison was built on the site of a former church morgue, and as far back as the 1950s, prison guards began hearing mysterious footsteps when alone in the building. Even today, staff in the building, which is now a historic museum, hear footsteps and voices, even spotting shadowy figures moving around. One well-known death that occurred in the building is that of a prison guard whose gun misfired during a riot. As the ghost in this photo is likely that of a guard, this could be the identity of the eerie entity captured in John's now famous photo. Scary beach photo shows disembodied head. A woman and her young child pose for the camera on a beach. The first three photos look normal, which makes the fourth photo in the series all the more shocking. In the fourth photo, there suddenly appears behind the woman what seems to be a disembodied head. Only the hair of the head is really visible, until you zoom in closer to see a dark face glancing downward. Because of the position of the head and of the woman in the photo, it is impossible for this head to have been attached to a body. This photo was taken on a sunny beach, but the face appears to be in shadow. What terrifying entity was lurking behind this woman and child during their carefree day at the beach? No one has been able to explain this terrifying photo. When Kenzie Knutson and her family headed outside for a barbecue, they weren't expecting to end up with creepy photos that would have them debating whether they were holding proof of ghosts in their hands. They certainly weren't expecting to end up afraid of what might be lurking outside near their fire pit. As the fire crackled and the family laughed and joked while cooking their food, Kenzie's mother began using her phone's camera to take some photos of everyone to mark the occasion. As she was snapping the pictures, her phone slipped from her hand and slipped to the ground. The phone wasn't broken, so no big deal, right? That's what they thought at first. However, when the family looked at the photos later, they discovered that two pictures had been taken as the phone fell to the ground. And one of them showed something that sent shivers down their spines. In one of the two pictures, everything appeared normal. Kenzie and her two sisters sat together near the fire, facing toward each other. In the second photo, they are in the same position, but there is something else behind them. A tall figure with what appears to be a brown cloth or bag over its head. Kenzie and her family are certain that they would have noticed, if anyone else had walked by while they were having their barbecue, and they are positive that they were alone around the fire. Does this mean that the mysterious figure draped in brown was a supernatural entity? Floating specter. Pictures of children are rarely unsettling photos. Normally, people like the photographer of this photo are trying to capture the adorable moments that often happen when children are around. This little boy decided to stick his tongue out at the camera, but the viewers of the photo were much more focused on the entity that appears to be lurking behind him. Just behind the boy, there seems to be an entity with dark hair and a gray dress floating in the air. Its arms hang limply, and its head is down, almost as if it were hanging from the ceiling. Some have suggested that a person behind the child was holding up a coat, or that a toy had been thrown in the air and appeared blurred in the image. However, many who have seen the photo believe that there is a clear enough face to establish that the image shows a ghost. Ghostly child in the tree. When Laura Watson took her 2 children and their cousin on a picnic to Plessy Woods Park, she never expected to come home with unsettling photos that would cause her family to live in fear for weeks. When the family arrived at the park, the area where they wanted to picnic was more or less deserted. The children began exploring, and soon came upon a large tree. The children decided to climb it, and Laura took out her phone to capture a photo of the moment. It wasn't until they arrived home later that she spotted a disturbing entity in the photograph. Just behind her son, the face of a ghostly child seems to be peeking out from behind his shoulder. The ghost's hand even seems to be resting on the other child's shoulder as he looks toward the camera. Laura was perplexed and frightened. There were definitely no other children in the area, and her son certainly would have noticed a hand on his shoulder. Who is this mysterious ghost child? Some think it looks like a girl with pigtails, but others believe it is a boy. However, no one has been able to conclusively determine the ghost's identity. Creepy face. At a bar in West Virginia, Elizabeth Bishop took a carefree selfie with a friend to commemorate their night out on the town. The bar is called 123, and when Elizabeth visited the establishment in October of 2016, she saw something that may have made her hesitant to go back. In the background of the photo she posed for with her friend, you can see what appears to be the bloodied face of a mysterious man. According to our viewer, there was definitely no one behind them when the photo was taken, so where did this disturbing face come from? On another floor of the bar hangs a photograph of a man who used to work there. Shockingly, the face in this photo strongly resembles the man whose portrait hangs in the bar. Perhaps the man is watching over his former place of employment after death. However, the blood dripping from his face suggests something far more sinister. Scary entity. Ray Della Peña was not expecting to come back from a hiking trip with any scary photos. However, it seems that the spirits of Mount Batulao in the Philippines had other plans for these hikers. The photo depicts the group of friends setting up camp in the dark of night on the mountain. There are several figures in the photo, but when Ray reviewed the pictures, he realized that there was one face too many. Over the shoulder of the man in the yellow shirt, a ghostly face peers out of the dark to watch the group as they set up camp. All of the other members of the party are accounted for in the photo, so no one can explain this frightening apparition. Face in an abandoned building. This photo, submitted by Nick Carter, was taken when Carter was exploring a former RAF base at Manby Hall in the UK. He had no idea that the photos he took while exploring the base would turn out to be such scary pictures. On its face, this photo is a little creepy. The run-down room has an eerie aura that makes you glad that you're only looking at a photo of it. However, if you look closely at the doorway, on the far right of the picture, you'll see something truly spine-chilling. A ghost-like face peering out from around the doorframe. In an old building like this, there are surely countless stories of tragedies and creepy events that could explain this terrifying face peeking out. As of right now, the identity of this spirit remains a mystery. Unwanted visitor. Jasper Ashbel wasn't expecting any scary ghost photos when he went out for dinner with a group of friends in 2013. Unfortunately for him, spirits often show up at the most unexpected of times. The group decided to go to a restaurant near Mulu National Park in Miri Sarawak, Malaysia. This is one of the most remote places in the area, but the friends still believed that they could have a great time. Throughout the night, they took numerous photos to commemorate the occasion. It wasn't until later that they noticed anything amiss in the pictures. 6 friends were gathered that night, but much to their surprise, a 7th face showed up in one of their photos. As the group posed in front of a dartboard, it appears that a spirit decided to take the opportunity to photobomb them. The face appears near the bottom of the photo, tucked in between several of the closely posed bodies. Based on the location of the eerie face, there is no way that someone could have snuck into the photo without the others noticing. In fact, it seems unlikely that the face could even be attached to a body based on its proximity to the floor. The face itself appears human, but not entirely normal. Its head is cast in shadow, appearing darker than it should have considering the bright light that illuminates the others in the photo. In addition, its eyes appear to be entirely white, giving the face a demonic appearance. No one in the group has been able to explain this terrifying photo, but it seems unlikely that they will return to this restaurant again. Waverly Hills Sanatorium Ghost. The Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky, USA, is no stranger to unexplained photos. Opened in the early 1900s, this former hospital has seen more than its fair share of suffering. When Uploader visited Waverly Hills, she was hoping to come home with some unexplained photos. The sanatorium did not disappoint. A wide-angle photo of the outside of the hospital looks normal on first glance. However, a close-up of one of the windows shows a pale, ghostly face watching the visitors from the darkness of the hospital. The visitor who took the photo is certain that no one was in the window when they snapped the photo. The sanatorium was constructed during a viral outbreak of tuberculosis, which is a deadly disease that claimed many lives. Records suggest that around 64,000 patients died at this hospital alone. Beneath the hospital lies an underground tunnel known as the body chute. It was used to transport dead bodies out of the hospital. Today, many claim that those whose bodies left the hospital through this tunnel never really left. Their spirits are still seen and heard by many who tour the tunnel. Visitors have also had eerie experiences in room 502, where many claim the spirit of a former nurse, who died by her own hand in the room, awaits. Perhaps one of the spirits, said to reside in the dark underground tunnel, was in the mood for a change of scenery? Thank you for watching. Subscribe. See you soon.